Great. Okay. Good evening. Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm Helen, one of the Perfume Studio stylists. I'm really excited tonight because we're going to go through our exotic collection. This is one of my favourites of our different collections that we have, and it's got some really interesting blends in actually. So I'm really looking forward to going through that with you this evening. We're doing this just to give you a bit of help, bit of extra info, something interactive to do with us this evening. You can obviously tune in and watch this another time if you want to, but otherwise you can sit and enjoy sniffing your blends with me this evening, which is great. So, as I said, it's our exotic collection. It will come in two ways to you. You will have either received the set looking like this, if you'd bought that directly from our website or one of our nationwide classes that we run. You may have received it in a white box like so. And this is it's essentially the same thing, fundamentally the same set. A couple of differences, not only the packaging but just the bottles that are included in terms of the atomizer sprays, which I'll show you in a minute. But this one you would have got either through maybe Buy Gift, Red Letter Days, Virgin, Smartbox, one of our other suppliers partners that we work with. It's pretty much exactly the same. All the blends inside are exactly the same. In this one though, aside from the packaging, you've got a lovely box. If you want to open up, you will see inside, if I can get the lid off, there we are, instruction booklet, which gives you full instructions on everything that you're going to do when you make your own fragrance. 6 of the 9 ml blends, 6 of those, and you've got a 30 ml glass perfume bottle in here, as well as the blotters and pipettes to decant your fragrance. So the lid comes off just like so. You blend your fragrance into the bottle and just do the lid up nice and tight, and you can enjoy using your fragrance in that lovely bottle. So that is the atomizer that's included in this set. I'm going to just put this back up because I'm actually going to use the white box for the purposes of this evening. So I'll leave that here and then we know what we're doing. And with the white box then, so same thing, the same 6 blends are included. Again, you've got a full instruction sheet included as well. Inside here is also on the back of a compliment slip how to blend with the bottles and atomizers that are included in here, because these are actually a 6 ml bottles. So you would have received it in a little bubble wrap bag. And you've got a pack of 5 6 ml bottles, so you can make up to 5 different little fragrances with this set. And these are the ones we're going to use today. So the maths is on here on how to blend and what quantities into this size bottle, but I'll go through that with you when we get towards the end on exactly how to blend. So I'm going to take one of those out for now. I don't need the other ones, I'm going to put them back. The instruction booklet's there as well, as I say. And we're going to pull out our blend. Just to say, it's worth getting a notepad and pen, which you'll need, or pencil, and a calculator as well, so you can follow through with me how to work out the maths on blending. But it's all written in that instruction booklet that I just showed you as well. So if you want to pull out your 6 blends, and I'm just going to put that to one side for now. So I'm going to do these in a particular order, and I'll explain why I'm doing in that order. You can sample them in any way that you want to, so don't feel that you've got to do it the way that I'm doing it, but it kind of makes sense, and you'll see that when I go through it. So we've got here 6 blends. I'm going to start with our blend number 13, Musky, so perhaps if you want to put that first. I'm then going to move on to our blend 19, Gourmand, and our blend 51, Amber. Next I'm going to follow with our blend number 8, Exotic Floral, 10 Spicy, and then our blend number 4, Fruity. And there's a reason for that. Don't worry about the numbering. If you're thinking, why aren't they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? We've got a total of 21 blends in our full collection that we would showcase if you came to a class or a private party. But for the purposes of this, we've specially picked 6 to include in our exotic collection, and those are the ones that are included. So that's why the numbers are the way that they are. Okay, so you've got 6 little 1/2 ml pipettes as well, if you want to just get them out and put them to one side. And in that bag you'll also have 6 blotters, which we're going to use to actually sample the blends. So the first thing you want to do is probably write on the blotter the number of the blend so that you don't get your blotter mixed up with the blend that you're sampling. So you're not going to do it on the pointed end because that's the end that we're going to be sniffing. So I want you to do it onto the flat end there. So if you get your pen, just separate the blotters out one by one. And if you want to just make a note on the end of the flat end of each blotter what number you're trying. So I'm going to write number 13 first because that's the first one I'm going to try, which is Musky. We've then got 19 Gourmand. Can't wait to talk to you about that one. It's amazing. They're all amazing, but that one's really lovely. 51 Amber, 8 Exotic Floral, 10 Spicy, and 4 Fruity. And then, as and when you do this again, you can use those blotters and you know which ones that you dipped into which blend. So it's really handy just to make a note on there which one is which. Okay. So, fragrance is made up of top, middle and base notes, and they all play quite an important role within the fragrance itself. We've got base notes, which we're going to start with, which is our Musky, Gourmand and Amber. And base notes are effectively what gives your fragrance its longevity. So it's that long-lasting part to the perfume. So it's what you can smell at the end of the day. It's what you can smell, you know, that last part of the perfume, maybe the next morning, or if any of you have perhaps pulled a scarf or coat out of your cupboard, you know, a few months after wearing it, you can smell your fragrance on there. That's the base notes. So that really long-lasting part to your perfume. It's a very important part. We then have middle notes, and the middle notes included in this collection are 8 Exotic Floral and 10 Spicy. And they are also referred to as the heart notes of your fragrance. The middle notes are the heart notes of your fragrance. They're really that main sort of body of your perfume, so a very important role that they play. They come through after about an hour or so. Spraying and lasts 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. It depends exactly what's included in them. And then the base notes follow through after that. And then we have top notes. And top notes, again, play a very important role within the fragrance. They are really that wow factor, that first impression, the first thing that you smell when you first spray a perfume and go, wow, I love that. So quite important as well, because they give you that first impression of what the fragrance may be like. But the very nature of top notes means that they don't last very long, and that's due to the fact that the molecules in top notes are very volatile, so they disappear very quickly. So they're very short-lived. So it's sort of that first spray, but then they will go. They can last 10 minutes, half an hour max, and then they're gone. And that's why I want to do the top notes last. So we'll start with the base notes, middle notes and top notes. We're going to smell them individually one by one, and then I'm going to show you how to build and construct your fragrance. So as I said, we're going to smell the pointed end. You want to just dip it in. You don't need to dip it all the way in, just a little bit on the end of there. It will soak its way up. Just give it a gentle waft in front of your nose. You don't need to do any big inhaling or anything like that. Just a nice gentle waft. Close your eyes, take in the aroma and decide whether you like it or not. What we'll do as we go through this little online experience is I'll give you the key ingredients that are in each of the blend, a description of each of the blends as well, and something we do in our classes just for a little bit of fun, a little personality evocation, so what the wearer might be like if they like a particular blend. So it's something we do just for fun, as I say, but you may discover something about yourselves that you never knew. Who knows? So I'll read them off. I've got my sheet in front of me here as we go through each blend. Just to remind you, as I say, everything is on the instruction booklet that's included within the set, so please don't worry if you miss anything or whatever. You can refer to that. You can always get in touch with us as well through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or of course directly through our website, and you can email us at info@theperfumestudio.com. So feel free to get in touch, and we can answer any questions that you may have, or if you need any clarification on anything, then we're always available. So do get in touch and we'll be happy to help. Okay. So let's start sniffing. One thing you want to have a think about when you're going through this experience is what you're going to call your fragrance, because at the end you're going to have the chance to go onto our website. You can log in, create or sign up, create an account, and you can register your fragrance name and your blend details to our library, and you can reorder anytime you want. So it's not just a one-off experience, which is fantastic. You can reorder refills of your perfume anytime. You can reorder these individual blends as well. So really make sure you do go on and register those blends and what you've chosen and what you've called it, etc. And you can enjoy your fragrance for many, many years to come. Okay, so let's start with our blend number 13, Musky. So just carefully take the lid off, dip in the blotter just a little bit of the way down. I'd probably put the lid back on if I were you, just to avoid spilling it. It does happen. Okay, so this is our blend number 13, Musky. I can smell it already. I love this one. I think with musk, it's personal choice. You either like it or you don't like it. Have a sniff and see what you think. I think this is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's a very lovely interpretation of a galaxide musk. It's enhanced with classic florals, fruity shimmers, and it's underlined by a very lovely sort of warm amber note as well. Really, really beautiful, this one. It's in the floral sweet section of the fragrance family. And in here you've got coriander, musk, there's rose, peach. Really, really beautiful. This one does take me back to my youth a little bit, and I do think of the White Musk Body Shop, if any of you are familiar with that fragrance. And a fragrance I used to wear some time ago now, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. That's got very musky base notes to it as well. Reminds me of that, very beautiful. For the men, Fuel for Life, a diesel fragrance. That's got a lot of musky base notes to it as well. So perhaps it might remind you of that if you have that fragrance. Really, really gorgeous. So the wear of this, if you like this blend, it's outgoing and individual. There we are. Okay, so let's just pop that down to one side. Excuse me. Okay. We're doing this under difficult circumstances this evening. Right, so let's go on to our next blend. This is number 19, Gourmand. Okay, so here we are, number 19, Gourmand. This one's absolutely gorgeous. I love this one. Really, really interesting note. So have a smell and see what you think of this one. I mean, the name Gourmand conjures up such a lovely idea even before you've smelt it, doesn't it? It's almost edible. Don't eat it. Okay, so a very sweet and very fruity accord. It opens with zesty bergamot, which is a top note. It's infused with very subtle spices as well. It's got bergamot, it's got sweet almond, it's got bitter rhubarb. You've got candy floss and caramel in here as well, and it very delicately blends with warm florals and precious woods. Really, really beautiful note here. So you've got coconut, rhubarb, sweet almond, jasmine, there's patchouli in here as well, sandalwood, vanilla, caramel. Wow, it really packs a punch, this one. Absolutely gorgeous. So probably the most similar fragrance on the market, I would say, would be La Vie Belle, the one that Julia Roberts advertises. I think it's Lancôme, which is a very lovely blend, probably most similar to this particular one. And the wear of this is outgoing and glamorous. Isn't that lovely? There we are. It's worth saying as well at this stage, each of these blends are actually a fragrance in their own right. So this is a whole perfume in its whole entirety. So it is a base note, but it has top notes and middle notes in. Our middle notes have top and base notes in, and our top notes have middle and base notes in. So they are a standalone fragrance. So you could, if you want to, just wear a bottle of Gourmand, and that's absolutely fine. Obviously, we're trying to mix up a bit. That's the fun of what we're doing today. But you can do that, and it is a whole fragrance in its own right. So feel free to use these on their own, as well as blending with others as well. It's really no problem to do that. Okay, so let's move on to our third base note, and this is blend number 51, Amber. So let's have a smell and see what you think about this one. I love this one. I think I'm going to have to include it in the blend that I make this evening, but see what you think. 51 Amber. Must be worth pointing out as well that perfume is very personal to you, so please don't think if you're enjoying this experience with someone else, if they like it, you've got to like it, or vice versa. You go with your instincts and go with what you like. You're going to be wearing it at the end of the day, so you're only going to put in those lovely blends that you like. So just go with what you feel. I think you know when you smell it if you like it or not. And you do find as well you have a dry down time with fragrance as well. So where you might not like it on its initial smell, you may revisit it in 10 minutes, 20 minutes time, and actually think, I quite like it now as it develops on the blotters. So don't rule it out straight away if you're not so keen. You may find as time goes on that you are a bit more taken with it. So this is 51 Amber, a very lovely opulent oriental accord. Again, zesty bergamot in here. subtle spices, and it ends in a very warm, sweet, resinous blend. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. Perfectly fine for men or women. I think it's a unisex blend. So bergamot, cardamom, cinnamon, geranium, clary sage in here. Very lovely. Calvin Klein Obsession, Estee Lauder Amber Mystique, Tom Ford Black Orchid have similar amber notes in. And for the men, Hugo Boss Velvet and Amber for men. Really similar notes, similar base notes. And the wear of this one is warm and sexy if you like it. So there we go. Okay, so those are our base notes. We're going to move on to our middle notes now. So remember, these are the heart notes of your fragrance, that main body of your perfume. And this first one's a really fascinating interpretation of floral. Obviously florals are huge in perfumery, not just women's, men's as well. And there are numerous hundreds of different floral notes that you can get, and any combination you can imagine. So this one is our blend number 8, and I really do love this. I find it very interesting. It's called Exotic Floral. You be the judge and see if you like it. But a very lovely intense fusion of exotic white florals. It's got violet leaf and it's got sandalwood, which adds a really lovely depth to the blend as well. Jasmine, mandarin, violet leaf, sandalwood. It's got a hint of vanilla and also a little bit of blackcurrant in here as well, if you can pick that up. Really lovely blend. I find this one really interesting. And the wear of this, if you like it, is sensual and playful. There we are. Okay, our lovely spicy number 10, another middle note, and this one is absolutely gorgeous if you like spice. So it really takes you to the Middle East. Think of those spice soups and those lovely red, orange, yellow spices you can picture in the markets out there. Really gorgeous. So have a smell, see what you think of this one. I think this is really interesting. It's very aromatic. It's got cardamom, it's got nutmeg, it's got ginger. It's very warm and rich, but it's sort of slightly sort of sweet gourmand to it as well. So you've got cardamom, ginger, nutmeg, coriander, cinnamon, and of course the most common spice of all, which we've all got in our kitchen cupboards, black pepper. Lots and lots of black pepper if you're familiar with that. I think this one's really gorgeous. Lovely, warm, rich, spicy note. Really beautiful. Mysterious, sexy, exotic, bold, and you have a unique charm. The wearer of spicy. Okay, let's move on to our final note now, and this is our blend number 4. Again, it's a very interesting take on fruity. Think of not your normal fruits that you might enjoy eating, but think of all those lovely sort of tropical, mouth-watering fruits that you can imagine, and that's what you'll get when you smell this one. So number 4, fruity. It's lush, it's tropical, it's got sweet, mouth-watering bursts of fruit, including guava and mango. It's accentuated with a dash of pear as well. Really, really lovely. Guava, peach, blackcurrant, mango and pear, the key notes in this blend. Really, really beautiful. Similar fragrances, Escada Tropical Punch, DKNY, Be Delicious. And the wear of this is young, bubbly and fun-loving. That's a great one to have, isn't it? There we are. Okay, so we've sampled all of the 6 blends. Now, I'm going to talk to you quickly about how you're going to build your fragrance and construct your fragrance. So, what you want to do is pick your favourites. I'm just going to pick a couple at the moment. I'm going to pick Musky. I love that one. I'm going to pick Amber. Those are 2 of the base notes that we tried, and you can have as many blends as you want in any combination, okay? So don't think you can only have 1 from each section. You can have as many as you want. So I'm going to try these 2 base notes together first, so Musky and Amber. Wow, it's really interesting how different one smells when you smell it on its own to how you then interpret it when you smell it together with something else, and what a difference it makes. And this is how your fragrance is going to build and construct. This is how you're going to build your fragrance up. So you're going to try different blotters in, you're going to try them, take them out. If there's one that you're not sure of and you're smelling it and think, do you know, I don't know, let me try it. You might put it in with those blotters and you're just going to fan them out like you would with a deck of cards and think, do you know what, actually, that's really good, actually. I really love that in there. Equally, there might be a blend that you love on its own, but then when you put it with the other combination that you've got that you like, that you think, actually, I don't like it, So I really would encourage you to have a good play around before you start blending. Try each of the blends in different combinations and really see which one works for you so that you can get that perfect, unique perfume. Okay, something else I'd like to show you as well. If there is a blend that you like, but you think it's quite overpowering, but you want to include it, but it's quite strong and perhaps taking away from some of the other blends, if you put a kink in your blotter like so, and just have it away from your other blotters, if you can see, if I turn that to the side, it is away from the other two blotters, and you're just going to smell it like so it's further away from your nose. It will give you an idea of a half measure. So you could have a blend in there, but maybe just have a half measure of it compared to the others. Equally, if there's a blend that you like and you really want it to dominate your fragrance and lead your fragrance and be the main part that you can smell, just simply turn that around and have it closer to your nose. And that will give you an idea of a double measure. So you can play around with half measures and double measures, and really sometimes just fine-tuning it like that will make it absolutely perfect. So again, have a play around with that. If it's too confusing, don't worry, just stick to an equal measure of each. That's absolutely fine. But just be aware that you can do half and double measures as well. And again, that's all in the instruction booklet that you've received. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with, for me tonight, the Musky and Amber, because I really love those. And I think I'm going to try the exotic floral, so let's try that. That's quite interesting. I'm going to just try the spicy, and really just changing one blotter from another one will make a complete difference to your fragrance. Oh yeah, I love the spicy, that's fantastic. And let's just try the fruity top note. Yeah, I like that, but I think for the purposes of tonight, I'm going to stick with those three because I really like them. So I've got musky, amber and spicy. But as I say, as many as you want, you can include. If you want to put all six in, put all six in. It's entirely up to you, okay? There's no right or wrong. You're not going to make a bad perfume. They all complement each other beautifully. So it's just down to personal choice. So be assured of that. Okay, so I'm going to just blend. I don't want you to do any blending. Do that after. When you're ready and in your own time, you can sit and have a play around with your blotters and choose your final fragrance. But I'm just going to show you how we blend so that you can see it for real. So I'm going to put away the blends that I'm not using. I'm not using fruity or exotic floral or gourmand. So it's best to put those to one side and then you won't get confused or mixed up. So I've got musky, amber and spicy. I'm going to do them in equal measures. So the maths, you take the bottle size, which is 6 ml in this instance, and you divide it by the number of blends that you have. I have got 1, 2, 3. So 6 divided by 3, that gives us 2 ml of each. So I'm going to do 2 ml of each of the fragrances, okay? And that is written on that back of the compliment set that's included in the white box that you would have received, okay? I'm just going to show you, before I blend that, how to do a half measure maths and a double measure maths, just so that that makes sense as well. So let's just say we had a half measure of this one. So you'll count each blend in its as it actually is. So this is now 1, 2 and a half. So I've got 2 and a half blends. So get your calculators. You'll take 6 ml and you'll divide it by 2.5. And the result is 2.4 ml. So each whole blend is 2.4, so we've got 2 of them at 2.4, and then the half blend, you just divide that by 2, which is 1.2, and the half measure will be 1.2. So we have 2.4 ml, 2.4 ml, and 1.2 ml, which obviously adds up to 6. Equally, if you're doing a double measure, so I'm going to turn that around, so I've got a double measure of one of them and 2 equal measures of the other. Again, you count them up as they are. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 blends in this instance. So again, you take your 6 ml, you divide it by 4, and that gives you 1.5 ml. So each of the whole blends are 1.5, so it's 1.5 ml, 1.5 ml, and the double, you just times that by 2. So the double will be 3 ml. So you have 3 ml of one and 1.5 ml of the other 2. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do need any clarification, if you have any questions or if you're in any doubt, please do get in touch with us, info@theperfumestudio.com, or via any of our other social media. Okay, right, let's put those down. Obviously our 30ml bottle, you'll do the same thing, by the way. So you'll have 30ml, and say you had 5 blends, you'll take 30ml bottle, you'll divide it by 5, and that gives you 6ml. So each of your blends would be 6ml if you had 5 blends, for example. But again, you can work out the maths. And so to make sure before you start blending, you've written everything down and know exactly what ml you're doing for each of the blends. Just to let you know, in here, each of the blends is 9ml. There's 9ml of each of the blends in this bottle. That's written on there anyway, but just so you know. Okay, so I need 3 pipettes. It's worth writing on here with a marker pen what blend you are dipping with which pipette, so that if you do this again, you don't cross-contaminate any of the blends, because you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take off the Musky, and I'm going to fill up with 2ml of each. So the pipettes are 1/2ml pipettes. There is a marker on there at the 1/2ml point. If you can remember back to your school days and how to use a pipette, you want to squeeze the bulb at the top, place it into the blend, and slowly draw up the fragrance into the pipette. And then you want to lower down to the 1/2ml mark, okay? So don't squeeze in intermittent squeezes, because you find you might get an air bubble in the pipette. So just squeeze up the fragrance, excuse me, and then slowly squeeze down in one go until you get to the 1/2ml mark. Okay, so that's a 1/2ml, and 1, 1.5, and 2. Now, I'm obviously, for the purposes this evening, not being overly accurate, because it doesn't matter. I just want to show you how to use it. So pop the lid back on the bottle there, just to avoid any spillage. Okay, now obviously I'm doing this quite quickly because I do this all the time, so I'm used to it, but just take your time when you're going through here, and just go slowly, and I'm sure you will be just fine. Okay, so I put another 2ml in there of my lovely amber, and then finally going for the spicy. This is our blend number 10, the lovely spicy that we just tried. Okay, just to remind you, you can reorder any of these 9mls individually. If you use up more of one and you want to get some more, you can order them off our website directly. And as I said, a refill of your fragrance as well. So once you've made this, you can enjoy wearing it time and time again. Okay, so then you're going to put the atomizer lid back in, twist it on nice and tightly, give it a really good shake, because you want to mix up all those lovely blends that you've got in there, and then let's have a smell, see what we've made. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I love that. I'm delighted with what I've created there this evening. Oh, really lovely. I shall enjoy wearing that. Now I've just got to think what I'm going to call it. Okay, so that's how we do it. Then, as I say, go to our website, click on the sign up at the top of the page. It will ask for your name, address, have you got a fragrance? Yes. And follow through from there. You'll receive an e-certificate with your fragrance name and blend details. You can reorder any time that you want. Hopefully this has been really helpful. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've loved doing it. So have some fun, go away, play with your blends, play with your blotters, and enjoy designing your own bespoke fragrance. And just to let you know, we've got other collections available as well. If you want to gift it to somebody else, you can do that. And the classes for those are available online as well. So feel free to have a look at those anytime. Thanks very much, and bye for now.